Hey everyone, good evening. It is that time again for the Spirit Program Live on Friday evenings at 7. I just want to again thank everyone that has been coming out for our recent events, everyone that has signed up for our Sunday, April 21st, one-day retreat and expo here in Frederick. I hope that you're able to make it. Don't forget to get your spot secured now, so that we have you in the count. There'll be a wonderful day of uh, different types of presentations. Our sponsors will be there that's sponsoring the program. Again, everyone has a chance to win $1,000 program full of programs and services given by myself and the sponsors of the program, and then our sponsors of that day. And I also am looking forward to the Rainbow Therapy Healing Circle this evening. So I pre-recorded my message tonight so that we could put it out before or would be scheduled, so it would go on at the same time. So I want to talk a little bit about, we've been talking about relationships. We talk about the relationship with yourself. We talk about how you talk to yourself, um, how you talk to yourself and how you let others treat you is a direct reflection on what your life is like, and how we change that. We've been going on a lot about that, but it's really important that you are also a good friend and a good communicator when you're dealing with other people. And we build relationships, whether that's a friendship or love relationship, or even family members, built on trust. So we tend to give people a lot of leverage sometimes, that we care for, especially if we have an emotional attachment to that person. I am the same way, and it sets me up for disappointment, and being frustrated sometimes. So I have learned how to overcome that part of things when someone does something and they're disappointed. And one of it is that I just don't take their word for what it is. I will vouch for myself, and there are many others that will as well. If you are a family member of me, myself, if you're a friend that I have been close to, if you're someone that I have recently got to know, it doesn't matter. If you're someone that I give my time to, and that's what I do, I give my time very sparingly to other people because I have very little of it to spend with my full-time career, and my events, in addition to, having a family of my own. I am very particular about how I spend my time. And I think it's important that we all do that, because at the end of my life, I'm not going to look back and regret how it was spent, who I spent it with. But if I do make a commitment to someone, regardless of who that person is, uh, if I make a promise, I follow through on it. Now, if I don't like something I do, then I will not agree to do it again. But if I have made a commitment to you and promised to do something, I show up. And I know that if you ask anyone that knows me, close to me or otherwise, if I've ever um, fallen down on a commitment, whether that is for an event that I show up for, if I have committed to an event, even if I don't even have a ticket sold yet, if it's an event where you can pay at the door, I am there. Even if no one has agreed or committed yet, I will show up. And if that means I'm showing up for one person or 200 people, I show up the same. I show up prepared. I show up ready to do what I promised to do, follow through on my commitment. And I think it's really important that we all know how important that is to building relationships, building trusting and honest relationships. Why do people reach out to only certain people? Because they know those people are the ones that are going to show up. When you stop getting phone calls from someone and you wonder why, it's because you didn't show up all the other times you promised. And I know who those people are. And it's not that I um, completely stop all those relationships, but I don't spend as much time with those people. And I don't commit, or I don't I expect them to be there if to meet or follow through on that commitment is what I'm trying to say. And I'm sure if you have been that person that has made empty promises to people in the past and you wonder what severed the relationship, There should be no, uh, you know, no question about it. And if you don't have good boundaries, boundaries are part of relationships. And if you are not, if someone is setting a boundary and you continually trying to bulldoze through that boundary and you don't respect them, that's one of the biggest things in my life. You don't have to like me, but if you don't respect me, there's a real problem. There won't be any relationship with someone that does not. And I think everyone deserves that right. Whether you agree with them, what job they hold, where they live, how they live their life, doesn't matter. If they're not harming you in any way and it does not have a bearing on you personally, which it does not. Someone else's reactions are not, you're not responsible for what people do. Everyone makes their own choices, but I make a choice to show up for people and I build strong relationships because of it. I communicate well. If I'm not going to be able to make it or I'm not going to be there on time, then I work something out, but I don't leave someone just hanging and wondering what's happening. And I think that's important to, again, if you building your relationships from this point forward should be built on a solid foundation. They're built on trust, and trust is the very first one. I do a marriage coaching program. I don't mention that often. In fact, it's not even listed on my website any longer, and it should be. It helps build relationships that have been severed or that are fragile or that, need some assistance or there's a breakdown of communication. So if you have relationships like that, you build a good relationship in the way too by coming through the Spirit program. But the marriage program is a great program and it spells Christ. It's communication, honesty, respect, integrity, sacrifice, and trust. And that's not sacrificing yourself. So that's about compromising. You'd learn that if you come through it. I have married couples before. I am an ordained minister. I very much enjoy it. I don't promote it, but I've had people ask me, friends, family members, and sometimes places that hold weddings. And they've had me on a list and called me before to officiate, but I don't do it any longer unless people agree to do the marriage program, because I believe they're being set up for failure. There's so many expectations that are and unanswered uh, questions that people don't ask. If I ask this, it may not, we may not even do this because I'm a fear of what the answer is going to be, but it's a lot better to know before you marry what that answer is going to be than to marry and then be disappointed in divorce. It's about building families, building relationships, building communities. And you do that through trust. And that is the number one thing. That's the foundation of that program. So I think it's ironic that it ends up spelling Christ. And, again, a commitment can be made without a marriage, without a piece of paper. A piece of paper means nothing. It's the commitment that you make. And that's the same with relationships. How do you build those relationships? It's by following through and being truthful and being honest with your word. So all of the things I teach in the marriage program are things that build strong relationships with everyone in your life. I hope this segment helps because I am focusing on relationships. I am a relationship coach. I'm a professional coach. I coach people through businesses, and professionally and personally. You can't separate who you are, but you can separate those parts of your life so they don't kind of spill over. And that's really important too. So many different facets to what I do. The Spirit program takes you through a program that helps you in all those areas and more. We have a new class coming up that you can participate in virtually. The registration is now open. You go to the website to join. It's a 12-week program. I promise you, you will not regret it. Again, I am doing the Rainbow Therapy Healing Circle live tonight. I have not gotten to a space yet where I feel comfortable bringing people in virtually and in person, where I feel like it will be done in a way that is beneficial to both parties. So we are working towards complete virtual events at this point. I'm sorry, I take that word back. Blended events where you can come in and be in person or be far away, because there's so many people now connected to me that are outside of the area, and I want everybody to be able to benefit from that. And I promise you it will be happening soon, but I want it to be done right. So again, if you're in the area and you can join us next Sunday, that is also the registration is still open for that event. You will not be disappointed that you came and did a big jump start into 2024, because this is spring and I want you to spring into your future in a positive way. So if you have any questions, reach out to me by email. There's a contact form on my website, www.getintothespirit.org. I was recently on the Everything Frederick Live. It's a new program that's being done here. And Danny had me as her guest. She used to be the DJ on Key 103, which is also here local. We're going to be doing a segment that's going to help people through grief and loss. That segment is going to be coming up soon, where we do it on a monthly basis, maybe even more frequently. But right now, that's what we've talked about. And I am very excited about continuing to help my local community as well as communities across the globe. So reach out again if you need someone to come in and do a presentation in the area, or if you want someone streamed in to do a presentation to help people that are grieving. I do something called Coping with Life Changes in Grief. I do something around the myths, something to help people engage again in their life. I do a grief healing program at 6 weeks. You can do it as a group. That's also coming up, or you can do it individually. It just depends on whether our schedule for our group classes fits in with your schedule. If not, go into individual, but I would prefer people to come into the groups. I think it's beneficial to see that you're not alone and that people struggle with some of the same things. I think all of the things we do are very enlightening to the fact that you are not alone. And we don't want people to feel alone. And it's not good to isolate yourself if you're going through grief. So again, reach out. I have lots of different tools that will assist you and help you. And I am looking forward to seeing you at one of the live events soon. And thank you again, everyone that has become a sponsor or signed up for next Sunday's event. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Have a great weekend and many blessings to you.